and the attacks against the foreigners, this was on February 22nd and 23rd. Apparently, this is still going to happen, according to what they're saying, that these attacks are going to happen again on February 22nd and 23rd. According to him, he said, and I quote, "We began taking precautionary measures when the incident took place today, and they've called on the federal government to persuade the South African counterpart to protect Nigerians." We've heard about this before in the past, but this is now premeditated in the sense that they've even given a time and a date as to when this is going to happen again. What do you think the issue is in South Africa with Nigerians? I mean, the issue of Nigerians taking their jobs and Nigerians doing well over there, and that is really vexing some of the South Africans and all whatnot.
You see, I don't know what our problems are, you know, especially on this continent of Africa. You see, the truth is that if we cannot, on the level of African to African friendliness coexist, then there is a problem. How can I be an African person in South Africa, another African nation, you know, and then we even collaborated and cooperated together to fight apartheid and what have you. Nigeria actually contributed immensely to that fight then. And then, you see, if you come to my country, for example, we have a lot of other nationals coming into Nigeria to do businesses.
There are a lot of South African businesses also
in Nigeria. MTN, was DSTV and what have you. A lot of them are in Nigeria. They are doing fine in their businesses, and nobody is harassing or insulting them. I do not see any reason why anybody should be agitated or vexed in South Africa that Nigerians are taking their jobs. I think our government should rise to the occasion. You know, maybe our president or our leadership, our presidency should talk with the presidency in South Africa, and then they should nip this thing in the bud, because we cannot continue like this.
There have been talks in the past. I mean, this is not the first xenophobic attack, but the issue is it seems to be escalating now.
Justice, who has been brought to book? You see, this whole thing, all through last year, we're talking and screaming like this, and then in South Africa, back then in South Africa, nobody has been brought to justice. That's what my questions are. You see, if we're saying, yes, our government, our president should talk, it's really not about that alone. It's about following all of these things up, and then you ensure that the South African government delivers on their promises to nip this in the bud. Simple. So I don't know what exactly is going on in this world. If we are doing this to ourselves as Africans, then there is a serious problem with the rest of the world. What happens to our collaborative, you know, yes, I mean, in the world? In Europe and in the Americas and the other places, if we are doing this to ourselves as Africans, then it means that I am not safe to travel to South Africa and do business. Or another South African, you know, very soon you see Nigerians retaliating. And I pray it doesn't get to that
exactly
level.
Is actually what, I mean, this incident happened yesterday, and there have been insinuations of another one February 22nd and 23rd, but it's still it's an evolving or unfolding story. We have to wait and see how that particular one unfolds. But I think the major point is for the Nigerian government to intercede, to step in South Africa. And also, like you rightly said, I don't remember anybody being brought to book for the attacks on the Nigerians. And maybe there is another angle to this story. We do not know. But from what we have here, if you have family in South Africa, I guess the notion is to be careful and get in touch with them. We pray this doesn't escalate to another level, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And the issue of yellow buses in Lagos, according to the state government and our governor, saying that he's going to introduce 2,000 new buses, hopefully before the end of the year, and phase out the yellow buses. A lot of economic growth is coming into Lagos State. The demand for public transportation and the class of public transportation is in high demand. But what do you think the implication will be? One day we'll wake up in Lagos and won't see our downfall buses. The Okadas are phased out in most parts of Lagos. But how do you think maybe the NURTW, for example, will take this?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'd like to seize this opportunity to thank the government of Lagos State, and then by extension and, you know, in particular sequence, the governor of Lagos State. He's doing a fantastic job. I'm proud to say it. You know, not because I'm a member of any, you know, the APC or something. No.
You want to declare?
So, you know, now directly to your question, the issue of the downfall buses. Honestly speaking, if you've been following, you know, trends in that department for quite some time, you notice that they are now fast becoming, or should I say, constituting another level of nuisance, since the Okada people you know, were phased out of the entire scenario. You see, now what I just want government to do in Lagos is that they should not just provide buses. They should ensure that they also engage these drivers of the downfall buses. You know, if possible, give them these new buses based on a particular collaboration with the NURTW, that is the transport union.
There's even the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria,
yes.
Who the publicity secretary, Mr. Olalekan Pius Amosun, actually condemned the move, saying it cannot work at the present time. And I quote, he said, "I remember that during Fashola's administration, we were invited and we made our stand clear. Also, when Governor Ambode was sworn in, he invited us and further made our demands known to him. Part of our demands was that the infrastructure in the states were insufficient to accommodate the new plan. We argued that the roads and others need improvements to accommodate the plan."
Yes.
So I think this is in phases.
Yes.
But for now, it seems that according to what we have here, the infrastructure is not yet in place.
Yes.
And that is kind of true. I mean,
I was
some bad roads.
I was coming to that, you know, because, you know, you said 2,000 buses by the end of this year. And then I said that the government can only do this, you know, through a collaboration with the transport union. Ensure that these drivers are actually the set of people who have access to all of these buses. They train them, sensitize them. If they still need to have conductors, I don't know what modalities they now want to adopt. But you see, you really need to train all of these guys and sensitize them. And again, the government must look into the issue of private arrangements of individual drivers. The truth is that you cannot say because you want to bring on a policy now, then you take food from my mouth or from my table or from my home. But what because if you don't give me out of these 2,000 buses as a downfall driver, then it means that I will not have a job again. And so the government must.
Well,
exactly.
They're still at the round table discussing the modalities.
I know they should discuss it well, because you cannot send somebody to early grave because you want downfalls to be off the road. Yeah, exactly. So if you want to bring 2,000 buses, what other arrangements are you planning for those people who will not partake in the sharing of the 2,000 that you are bringing by the end of the year?
I guess that's a question the governor will have to answer very soon. Wale, thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
We'll be back after the break and delving into the story of our president, talking about President Buhari, who is not in the country. He is recovering, but pictures have been flying around. The House of Rep and, of course, the Senate leadership have been to London. Some are like, the picture is not real, it is real. And all the other issues surrounding that particular incident. We'll talk about that after the break on Rubbin Minds. Stick around.